This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
The Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Happy Monday, the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. Inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave on a beautiful day. It's just windy. Yesterday and today and tomorrow is supposed to be real windy across much of Montana, which hampers the golf game a little bit as we near the end of the season. Anyway, big show today. I mean, we are jam-packed today. Jordan Hansen's going to join us from 406mtsports.com, recap the weekend. We have Lindsay Berra, Yogi's granddaughter, coming on, talk about the death of Whitey Ford over the weekend. And Sam Acho, former NFL linebacker and author, is going to talk about his book that's coming out tomorrow. And what else? The Auto Contest Performance of the Week. Got some great nominees as well. So let's get started, shall we, on a busy Monday. And we got a big, Jim Carr's, the NAI president's going to join us this week. Josh Margolis from Havre is going to join us. Brittany Jackson, the former Tennessee Lady Vols, back on the show this week. Nicole Rigoni, of course, and some surprises as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to get going on today's show as we, by the way, you can watch on Facebook. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on Twitter. You can listen. Podbean, Network One Sports. You go to jasonwalkershow.com. Email us anytime, jasonwalkersports@gmail.com. All right, here we go. Let's get started. The daily COVID update. 423 new cases. We are now 19,125 confirmed. 212 deaths. 11,481 recovered. 7,432 active. 291 currently in the hospital. 1,487 Yellowstone County, 1,071 Flathead, 506 Glacier, 623 Missoula, 597 Cascade, 521 Gallatin, 216 Lewis and Clark, 137 Deer Lodge, 94 Silverbow, 176 Hill, 151 Toole, 304 Roosevelt, they're back above 300, 117 in Blaine, 91 Valley. That's going to lead to some Glasgow schools shut down for the next couple of weeks, I believe. Glasgow. Limiting not shut down. I apologize. They're in school, Glasgow, but they're limiting spectators for at least the next 2 weeks. 4 ticket vouchers for home athletes and coaches. Visitors, 2 ticket vouchers. Let's see. 58 in Fergus County, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Still. 102 down in Beaverhead, 71 over in Ravalli, and 111 in Lake. I mean, I could literally keep going. But there are some that say it doesn't matter. And then there's this. So Yellowstone or Lewis and Clark County is 216 active cases. Then a lot at Carroll College. Carroll College athletics, aside from cross country, golf, and women's track and field, everybody else has been affected in athletics at Carroll. So as of right now, at Carroll College, all practices and workouts have been suspended. until at least Thursday. And they're testing everybody today and tomorrow at Carroll College, athletics-wise, symptomatic and non-symptomatic. So, yeah, there's a... And it's weird because Carroll has been very quiet. Carroll's been very quiet on their numbers, but we'll keep an eye on that for you. Okay? All right, so there's your COVID. Let's do some of your Auto Concepts Performance of the Week nominees. Matt Burton, Capital, 13 of 19 passing, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, both of which to Tom Carter. Capital got a big win on the road at Big Sky. Rafe Newborough ran for 4 TDs. He threw for another. Great Falls, or CMR rather, beat Gallatin. Caden Hewitt, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns. Helena High with a huge win over Glacier. Carson Hunter, 3 touchdown passes, ran for 3 more. Miles City pasted Sydney. Jace Fitzgerald ran for 3 touchdowns. Dylan got past Libby. And that's a big win for the Dillon Beavers. Tyson Rosted, 18 of 22, 365 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ben Tack ran for 3. Number 1 Hamilton stayed perfect. Cormac Ben, 38 rushes, 381 yards, and 5 touchdowns as Big Ford beat Class A Polson 54-40. Interesting stat, the Vikings, 664 rushing yards. They did not attempt a pass and won 54-40. Rex Williamson, 4 touchdowns. Malta hammered Glasgow. Caden Holgate, 4 touchdown passes. Manhattan, 49-0 win over Big Timber. I said it was going to be 49-15. It was close. Cade Cutler, 4 touchdowns. 2 passing, so 6 total. Drummond Phillipsburg shut out Sheridan. Close game, 74-0. Cade Struts, 207 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Big Sandy all over Power Dutton Brady. Mason Detham, 181 yards, 5 touchdowns. Freud Lake routed Weibo, 52-8. Ella Pethel, I think this doesn't seem right, but this is, unless it's a misprint, but 69 digs for Belt in a 4-setter against Sunburst. It might be 29, but is there, what's close to the 6? 3, 2? It's 69 digs. That's a lot. Liv Wangren, 26 kills. Don Langen, 16. Plentywood's perfect as they beat Class B Glasgow. 7 Billings Central players scoring goals. 4 from Abbey Derbyshire. And the Rams beat Livingston 12-1. So there's just a couple nominations. You can keep yours coming in. On this day in history, still to come, some birthdays. It is Match Burnham's birthday today, former Carroll College great. Danny Sprinkle's birthday is today as well. Bobcat, great, and now current MSU head coach. All right, so Friday, Whitey Ford passed away. He was 91. And he died on the day that it was an anniversary of a big World Series celebration as he passed Babe Ruth. And I figured there's not many people better to talk about the Yankees and Whitey Ford than someone who grew up around Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra's granddaughter. Lindsay Berra joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show, the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. All right, here we go, 3, 2, 1. Well, I appreciate you joining again on short notice. I reached out last week, but we were just talking, Lindsay. This is a terrible year for baseball, and just recently the Hall of Fame with Joe Morgan passing away today. But I reached out last week because Whitey Ford passed away, another great Yankee.
I can't even believe how crazy 2020 has been. You pointed out that we started off on New Year's Day losing Don Larson. But following Don's passing, we've lost 6 Hall of Famers since then. Now, Tom Seaver, Al Kaline, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, Whitey, and now Joe Morgan. It's totally, totally crazy. And I keep thinking in my head that's going to be some Hall of Fame golf outing they have, because those guys always caught up on the golf course every year. But for me, it's interesting. I was driving out to a golf outing on Friday morning, which is Joe Madden's golf outing out in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, that was rescheduled from the summer due to COVID. And my dad and I had left at separate times. And I was with my boyfriend. My dad was in his car, and he got the call from Whitey Ford telling him about Whitey's passing. And I had a good cry in the car. And now I know Whitey was getting up there in age, and sometimes, when they start to suffer, it can be a blessing, but it really just signifies to me just this end of an era where we've lost so many of these guys. There's for the Yankees, Dr. Bobby Brown is in his late 90s, and he's, I know, the only one left of the teams who won 5 in a row with the Yankees. In the late 40s and the 50s. So there's just really not a lot of these guys left, and it just generally makes me sad.
It is a bummer. And even for not being a Yankee fan, I mean, this is still, it is sad. I mean, I read this thing called On This Day in History every day.
Yeah.
And this time of the year, it's Yankees win this World Series, Yankees clinch this pennant. It's just, there's so much Yankee history for this time of the year, going back 100 years, and like you said, it's just getting, these guys are getting up there.
It's funny. My grandpa Yogi passed on the anniversary of his Major League Baseball debut, and he hit a home run on his first day in the big leagues. And Whitey actually passed on the day that he broke Babe Ruth's scoreless inning record in the World Series. And my boyfriend and I were joking about it, that those guys accomplished so much in their careers that whatever day they were going to pass away on, they probably had done something, unless it was in January. So they just achieved so much that you can't find a day where they didn't do anything.
No, that's exactly right. Because I brought up your grandpa's passing with his home run about a month ago, wasn't it? Or just
September 22nd, a few weeks.
Yeah. So, like I said, on this day in history, it's crazy how much Yankee history is out there. Lindsay Berra, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show. I know you don't remember Whitey's playing days, but you obviously got to know him through your grandpa Yogi, and you had some great stories.
Yeah, so obviously I didn't get to see him play, and I know just through word of mouth what a great big game pitcher Whitey was. You always wanted him on the mound. He had so many different pitches and so many different ways to get people out. He was super versatile. But what I really remember most about Whitey is the relationship he had with my grandfather. He and Joni, Whitey's wife, Whitey Ford, they were at the house all the time. They used to come to Grandpa's golf outing, the events at the museum. Grammy and Grandpa would go to Long Island and have dinner with Whitey and Joni. They just had a really nice relationship that lasted from the time they met in the 50s playing until, a solid 50 years, 60 years, until Grandpa died in 2015. A couple things I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to the Hall of Fame inductions, and Stan Musial used to try to teach me to play the harmonica, and I have very little musical ability. And he tried for a little while and then deemed me useless. So after that happened, I joined a group of kids that Whitey Ford was teaching to do a line dance. And Stan would play his harmonica, and we would do the line dances that Whitey taught us. I don't know where Whitey got line dancing ability, but I just very distinctly remember, standing behind him with a bunch of other kids and imitating him, stomping his feet on the ground and spinning around. They used to play cards at night at Grandpa and Whitey, and just down in the basement of the Otesaga Hotel. They had these round card tables with like leather chairs. And I remember several times just kind of falling asleep, sitting behind my grandpa with my head on his back, just listening to the guys yap at each other and play cards, and cigarette smoke wafting through the ceiling. And I was lucky that my dad let me stay down there with them. And then as they got older, I remember one very funny story. My grandmother and Joni Ford had been talking a lot about something, and I don't remember what it was. It was probably plans for something, and my grandfather was hearing tidbits of the conversation over the phone, and I don't know why he didn't just ask my grandmother what he and Joni had been talking about, but he actually called Whitey, and he said, "Whitey, the girls have been on the phone an awful lot lately. I think they're going to put us in a home." So my grandfather. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that he made that leap, but he thought that Grammy and Joni Ford were plotting on putting him and Whitey in an assisted living before their time. So,
oh my goodness,
it's a funny story.
Lindsay,
but they were just very close and had a lot of fun together.
Lindsay Berra joining us here, Jason Walker Show. Those Hall of Fame card games, the Hall of Fame memories, but in Canton. But just the stories in general, like that, I mean, that's just to be a fly on the wall when those guys all got together. And you were part of that a little bit, and it's very cool.
It is really cool. And, like, I never thought of them, like, you know, Whitey Ford won 6 World Series championships. He was a 10-time All-Star. I think he was he had the highest one of the highest win-loss percentages. I think he had the fewest wins when he hit 200 victories. I think Doc Gooden came pretty close, but he just was a dominant, you know, superstar pitcher. And as a kid being around him, you kind of knew that, but it was not what came to the forefront with Whitey. It was just his, like, fun-loving, you know, personality and the warmth between him and all of the other guys.
I mean, like I said, just to, you know, I've been around celebrities before, and to hear their stories, or just, you know, like George Brett and those guys were great when I was caddying in a golf tournament for him. And he said, you know, George Brett, that was hilarious because he said that, you know, you can ask me anything, but don't ever talk to me about the Yankees because I effing hate the Yankees. And we know why. But,
yeah.
You know, but those are the great stories that you get off the field from these guys. And like I said, to be a fly on the wall for all those Yankee stories, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I say it all the time. I was a very, very lucky kid.
You did post a sweet picture up the other day, Lindsay, that, I mean, you mentioned it in your Twitter post. Everybody talks about your grandpa Yogi and Don Larson and the hug after the perfect game, which was the anniversary last week. But the first pitch from that game, and it was, I mean, the mound looks a lot closer, but it was just perfect. You got the umpires, you got the ball, you got the bat, baseball. I mean, baseball's beautiful. It's poetic.
I really think that is a cool picture, and the mound obviously was not closer. It was just like an optical illusion there. But I always thought that picture was really cool because the ball is in such good focus in the middle there, and then it also is kind of funny. There's that really big Ballantine beer ad in right center field, and back in the day, my grandfather used to do some ads for Ballantine beer, and in my 40 years of living with him on planet Earth, I don't ever remember him drinking a beer. But apparently when he was young, he did drink beer, and then he switched to drinking vodka later in his life and really only drank vodka. But when he was in the assisted living facility and his mind was kind of starting to go, sometimes he'd look up at you and he'd go, "Linz, I'd like a beer, a Ballantine beer." And it always made me think of that picture. And I'm like, he wants a beer. Like, first of all, Ballantine, I don't even know if they still make that, which I think they do, but in small batches. But I would, run around the assisted living, so I'd come back with, a Michelob Ultra and peel the label off it and be like, maybe you won't notice. Try and give him his beer, right?
Oh, that is awesome. That is fantastic. I know you're busy with services and everything today and tomorrow, but I appreciate the time. Yeah. Is the museum back open full-time now?
So it is open. It is not open full-time. Normally we're open Wednesday through Sunday. We are now currently open Friday through Sunday from noon to 5. You just have to buy your tickets online ahead of time. We have extended our exhibit commemorating the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues through March. So fantastic. People can come and see that. It's a really, really cool exhibit. Anybody in the tri-state area, I'm telling you, it is worth a trip to the museum, not only to see the Negro Leagues exhibits, but to see all the other cool stuff that we have. And I think that they'll be kind of reevaluating as we get through the fall and flu season and whatnot, seeing where COVID takes us as far as more hours are concerned. But like I said, right now, Friday through Sunday.
Well, I appreciate the time and the great stories, and my condolences again, like I texted you the other day, but I appreciate the time on short notice, and enjoy the fall.
I would just say real quickly to folks, we're losing so many of these guys. And if you're a baseball fan, I know your kids probably love Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez and Mike Trout, but teach them about these old guys. Let's not forget them. Let's let the the younger generation know what came before, because without these guys, there is no Aaron Judge and Mike Trout. These guys really paved the way, and the kids should know that.
Oh, that is fantastic, and another reason why you're the best. Old baseball. I mean, seriously. I mean, you think of Joe Morgan. Everybody this generation thinks of him as a broadcaster, but I remember, the arm flap. I mean, the Big Red Machine. This was
Big
Joe
Red
Morgan,
Machine, man.
Yeah.
Joe Morgan's probably the best second baseman in the history of the game.
Yeah.
So you gotta look at those stats. It's back to back. I posted something about Joe today. He was a back-to-back MVP winner. My grandfather was a back-to-back MVP winner, and I think there's only about 13 of them in baseball history. That's like, man, I was so good last year, and you know what? I am so good this year too.
Exactly.
That's just cool.
It is for sure.
Yeah.
Take care and stay safe out there again. And thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Great. Thanks so much, Jason.
Lindsay Berra joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, and we have her on. I mean, we talk local sports and statewide sports, but I mean that's the passing of a legend. And today with Joe Morgan passing away, I mean, to get the thoughts of someone who knew, like Whitey Ford, who knew Don Larson. I mean, she was the insight, and like we talked about, can you imagine listening to some of those stories? And we didn't even talk Mickey Mantle, right? I mean, I saw a thing today. Here's just baseball. Biff Porocoba, Claudel Washington, Jimmy Wynn, Bob Watson, Jay Johnstone, Don Larson, Glenn Beckert, Ed Farmer, Tony Fernandez, and then the Hall of Famers: Tom Seaver, Al Kaline, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, Whitey Ford, Joe Morgan. And just since Seaver passed away, a month ago? I mean, all those have passed away just in the last month. And I get it. They were old. But we're, like Lindsay Berra said, we're losing them, man, and it sucks. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to chat with Jordy Hansen and get his thoughts on the weekend. There were some big games across the state. And we'll talk to Jordy next. Jason Walker Show. Coming right back. Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Have you thought about buying a home and just don't know where to begin? Well, when it comes to one of the most important purchases one can make, we understand it can be frustrating and confusing, but it doesn't have to be. Let the Major Mortgage team help you with all your mortgage needs. Major Mortgage means major service, and we would love the opportunity to help you today. Give J.R. McFadden, NMLS number 1246357, a call today at 406-465-1918, or you can visit him at 2001 11th Avenue, Building A, Suite 3 in Helena. Major Mortgage is a division of AMCAP Mortgage, NMLS number 129122, equal housing lender. Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center here inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. And we told you, big show, and we're not even we're just the third of the way through it. Just talked to Lindsay Berra, Yogi's granddaughter, about Whitey Ford and some great stories. If you miss anything, you can go to jasonwalkershow.com. Sam Acho is coming up, former NFL linebacker, played with Tampa, I think Arizona, the Bears, Philly. But he's got a new book out, and we're going to talk to him coming up here in a few minutes. But it is time to bring in the main man of the show on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. I mean, anybody can talk to, about Whitey Ford or about, NFL guys, but nobody has Jordan Hansen like we do each and every Monday on the Jason Walker Show. How are you?
Good. I guess I'm just an exclusive guest at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I like that for one, but we were just talking, and we just talked to Lindsay Berra, but all the baseball players that have passed away this year started on January 1st with Don Larson, the only guy to throw a perfect game. But then, Tom Seaver and Al Kaline and Lou Brock and the list goes on, and it's kind of sad. Bob Gibson, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, and it's just, it gets you start thinking, well, shoot, who's next? I mean, I was just looking up a list, and there's I think this year there's 50 or so former major leaguers that had more than 1 year service that passed away this year, and it's crazy to think about. And there's a lot of big names, like you were kind of saying, Bob Gibson especially being one, and sad, man.
Yep, it definitely is. What's not sad, though, is there was some great performances over the weekend. Let's start Big Fork Polson and Cormac Ben.
I mean, I don't know how you get up the next morning after rushing 38 times. And I honestly, when I saw that box score come across on Friday night, it took me a second to believe it, and especially the part where Big Fork attempted 3 passes, completing 1 for 0 yards. I've never. At least it's been a while since I've seen a box score where there's 67 rushing attempts and 3 passing attempts. I mean, I guess an Army box score.
I was just going to say Army, or yeah.
But I mean, it was impressive, and I was talking to head coach Jim Ben prior to the week, actually, because we were just kind of chatting about kind of how the game against Polson even came about, and it was pretty funny. He's like, yeah, whenever 2 contrasting styles, because obviously Polson with Jarrett Wilson, passes the ball quite a bit. But he's like, whenever you come up with, 2 different, styles of play like that, you're going to be bound for a good game. And he wasn't kidding. I mean, 94 combined points is pretty impressive at an 11-man level.
So I had it wrong. I didn't think they even attempted a pass, but they tried 3 passes.
Yeah, Patrick Wallen is kind of been their quarterback. Cormac's kind of lined up as their quarterback too sometimes, because they kind of have a wildcat thing kind of going on too. Right. But yeah, Patrick Wallen did complete 3 passes. Not sure when those passes happened, but apparently they did. So I'm gonna take the stat keepers for the Big Fork's word for it.
First 3 plays of the game, and then they're like, screw it, it's not working. We're just running the ball from now on.
Right, and it's wild too, because Levi Taylor, one of their other backs, rushed 20 times for 271 yards. So you have a back going 38, 381, 5, and another back going 20, 271, 2. I mean, it's just kind of unbelievable to even think about. But
Jordan Hansen, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. All right, what else stood out?
Shoot, I was just kind of looking too, and Flint Creek got another huge win. Flint Creek and Thompson Falls both, got huge wins. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a tragedy that those 2 teams haven't played each other yet. Granted, Troy, is the team that gave up Victor's first win in 3 years or whatever it was, or 16 games. But I think those 2 teams are on a collision course. Bridger got another big win. Park City actually got a really big win.
Yep.
As well, and I mean that puts kind of them in the driver's seat for their conference. So it was kind of a weekend, I think, where a lot of the teams that really needed some wins and really needed to kind of stake their claim at the top of their conference got those wins that they needed. I mean, Fort Benton rolls, and I think Jace Thompson just announced that he was signing with Montana Tech.
Yep, saw that.
Scobie was off this week, but Mondac got another big win. Florence got a big win. So it's just some of these races, and Malta beating Glasgow as well. That was another big one that's gonna have reverberations with the rest of Class B in the north there. So and it kind of puts Malta in the driver's seat for that playoff seed as well. And getting a top overall seed in B is always so important to have that advantage. So just some things starting to clear up here as as we get to the latter stages of the season. So I guess what kind of stood out to you?
Well, it was just, the same type of thing. And you look at, the AA kind of going expected. The CMR kind of surprised me, though. They scored 42 points in the second half to beat Gallatin, which is big. You brought up the Park City, and they were down to Joliet, 14 points at half or 16, and come back and get the win. And when they scored 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes to get the victory. That's And now that you're getting close to playoff time, we're starting to see playoff teams really, and Joliet's going to be in the playoffs, obviously, but this is one of those games there. I think that Park City's proved itself, and they sit on top of the division right now.
Definitely, and it's just interesting to me too to see some of these teams get these. Just kind of start to find, especially their passing offense coming, later in the season. And I think you've seen that at a couple of different schools because just, over the summer, I think some things were kind of hard to put in. And I usually think your running offense will be, in before your passing offense. I think you're starting to see some coaches open up the playbook a little bit and just, with, all the uncertainty and stuff, not knowing, how things are going to go forward. I think they're just kind of kind of messing around with it a little bit too. And I think I saw that with Sentinel and Hellgate on a little bit different tangent, but yeah, so that was kind of my take. One of the other big games too, I think Helena Capital pretty much got themselves a playoff spot with a big win over Missoula Big Sky, where Big Sky had some chances in the second half there to win the game, honestly, and they just couldn't quite take advantage. But that'll be interesting to see how the rest of the AA bracket on the bottom side of the West, especially, will kind of shake out as well. And obviously, I think the next couple of weeks you'll start to obviously really see the seeding work itself out.
I think so too. And the big surprise to me wasn't necessarily Helena High beating Glacier, but they beat them by 20 points. And I know Helena High's got a great defense, but they shut down JT Allen and Jake Rendina, and that's something nobody's been able to do this year, and Helena High did it.
Yeah, and that game against Sentinel this weekend is going to be quite the game, I think.
Yeah, monster.
You have, and it's funny because Dane's pretty much put everything, all their trick plays and stuff on film already. They've done a double pass this year. They've done some really interesting things in motion. They've had Camden Sermon do a lot of different things with the ball, and it's so impressive to me with them too. Is that what's the old adage that if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Right.
Well, Sentinels through 5 games. Dayton Bay's and Camden Sermon's passing stats are just about the same, and Camden definitely doesn't hesitate to tuck the ball a little bit. So seeing how those Helena linebackers in the Helena secondary will be able to see what kind of packages they come up with, to see what on the defensive line, what kind of stunts they're going to run, stuff like that. It'll be an interesting chess match, between those two coaching staffs. And I know they think very highly of each other, and and both of them are obviously going to be in the playoffs. But I really do think this is a year where you want that number 1 seed. And this to me, will be the game for the number 1 seed, because I don't see either one of those teams losing to anybody else this year, especially with how Helena was able to handle Glacier. So.
No, and like I said, that was my biggest surprise. Honestly, was not that Helena High won, but in the matter that they did it. Interesting stuff. Hey, before we give our polls and other games for the week, soccer gets started this week. The AA playoffs, and they start tomorrow. At least, the Western AA, and I saw those matchups, and pretty interesting on both the boys and the girls sides.
Definitely. It'll be really interesting to see how Helena comes about. What they can put together. Just some great soccer teams this year. Honestly, I think that's and in the BA level as well. But the Hellgate boys, they've been on their same stretch they have been for the past couple of years. They're good. I had a chance to watch them once this year, I think, and was just continually impressed with the job that Jay Anderson's done with them. A fun one will be on back going to the girls' side, Sentinel and Big Sky will play in the 3-6 game, and that's a rematch of Crosstown 2 weeks ago where they had a 2-2 tie, and I think the other thing too, kind of going back to the boys, Helena, being able to get that late tying goal against Sentinel to be able to push them into that 4 spot, where they'll have a crosstown of their own against Capital. So I think in the long run that'll be a pretty important goal, and for Sentinel, I mean that's kind of a tough thing, but it's also nice to see Butte not being in 8th. That program, both the boys and girls side, has come a long ways this year, and that's fun to see for them too, because I know that's a town that does actually like its soccer, and having a good team like that is definitely important to part of that school. So and I'm just continually impressed with what Gallatin's done as well, this first year between football, golf, whatever. I mean, I know there's obviously some talented athletes coming over there, but just to see them be competitive in a way that, not to take anything away from Belgrade, but in a way that Belgrade wasn't, right? It's just very impressive to me. And I know there's some different circumstances go there, and that Belgrade's obviously a small school comparatively to some of the other AA squads, but it's just nice to see that. That aspect of kind of reorganizing, adding another school, and making the AA just have a few more teams, a little more competition. I think it's cool to see how that's worked out, whether it's soccer, like I was saying, any other sport. So.
Jordy Hansen, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. All right, so we didn't even talk about the Eastern AA in soccer or the A. I mean, it's got to be Laurel or Billings Central on the girls' side, and then probably Whitefish or maybe on the boys' side.
That Whitefish boys team is good. And the Columbia Falls team is solid. There's the Big Four team solid, but it's gonna run through Whitefish. I mean, that team has oodles of talent, and they have looked very good this year. And I can't quite speak as authoritatively on the Eastern A side, but Billings Central and Laurel, I mean, they've been in class of that division for the last couple of years, and it's no secret that they'll be in there at the end.
I think it'll be those two in the title game, and as good as Polson girls have been this year, I mean, Billings Central and Laurel, that's it. It's just them two, I think, in the Eastern A. So for girls. All right, big games this weekend. We already talked about the Helena High Sentinel game. But what else are you looking at as far as big ones, big matchups on the forefront?
I guess there really wasn't a ton that I was completely looking at yet. Still trying to figure out where exactly we'll be this weekend. But assuming that things don't get shut down as well. But the two Cal schools will face off in a battle for the, I won't quite say bottom there, but that'll be one to see. Fairfield and Malta play this Friday. Florence gets a crack at Missoula, which I know is big around here, but probably not for anywhere else. Miles City and Billings Central, obviously that's one we'll all be looking at. Hellgate and Capital will play, and Hellgate's looking for a win there. Hamilton and Libya. It seems like every week Hamilton's played a tough opponent this year.
That Western A is pretty good.
Seriously, it really is. But I mean, it's always the thing where I won't say get exposed, but I still do think that the Eastern A has been a step above. And I mean, you've seen that when Miles City's won their titles and stuff. I do still think that the East, with the power being obviously the Billings Central, Laurel and Miles City, I still do think those teams have maybe still a little bit of a one-up, and I would think that the last one that I'm kind of looking at is Townsend Manhattan.
Yep.
It's a chance for Townsend to stake its claim that they're here, whether they win or take a close loss or something. I think that's a team. I think that game will tell us everything we need to know, whether Townsend's a legitimate contender down the lane or not. So.
Definitely. All right, let's give our top 5 each power poll. We vote, and we'll start in the AA. I have a feeling it's probably going to be pretty similar, but Sentinel, Helena, West, Senior, Bozeman.
A little bit different, actually.
Really?
Sentinel, West, Helena, Bozeman, and Glacier. And the edge being there that I really do think that West maybe has a little bit better win with the senior win than Helena. And not to take away, anything from Helena from what they've done already. I just in the interest of fairness as well, I think that the East deserves a little bit of representation there, and I do think that West is a team that is going to be able to hurt Sentinel if that does come to pass.
All right, so interesting AA there. I mean, I didn't want to drop Glacier all the way out, but I mean, they lost by 20, and I get it, but they were undefeated, and so I just dropped them out of them. If you put them in a tie for, I could actually go Bozeman 4, Senior, Glacier / or tied for 5th. How's that?
Yeah, no, and you could definitely make the argument that Sentinel, West, and Helena could all be the number one team, more so Helena or Sentinel, but I really you can make an argument for any three of those teams in any order out, honestly.
All right, Miles City in the A. Miles City, Hamilton. I know those are reversed for you, but Billings Central, Dillon, Columbia Falls.
That's good. That's a good one. I did put Hamilton, Miles City, Billings Central, Dillon, Laurel, and then as a +1, I have Frenchtown on there. And Sioux Falls, you could definitely put a tie for 5th there as well, or 6th. Yeah, I was kind of impressed with kind of how Frenchtown's rebounded a little bit the last couple of weeks, and I do still think that they have some pretty talented skill players in their outside, especially in a quarterback down there too that knows what he's doing. So his name's escaping me, but he's okay. A good quarterback.
Class B. I'll let you go first.
Cool. Manhattan, Fairfield, Malta, Florence, Townsend, and yeah, that'd be 5.
So I have Manhattan, Malta, Florence, Carleton, Townsend, and then Fairfield, Glasgow tied for 5th.
Yeah, and I think it'd be fair to put Malta over Fairfield there. I just kind of had them up there this year, and I haven't necessarily had a chance to drop them down yet. But and the other thing with Malta too is once they had a couple games that they didn't play, it's a little bit hard to kind of slot them in and that. But yeah,
I like it. 8-man, Fort Benton, Thompson Falls, Drummond Phillipsburg, Park City, and then Westby Grenora.
Yeah, I can roll with that. Mine's Fort Benton, Thompson Falls, Flint Creek, Park City, and then I still have Scobie stuck in there.
Okay. Well, you could put Scobie or Fairview in there. I mean, that eastern side of Ecolak is 4-2. I mean, it's amazing that East in the 8-man. Holy cow! And then
and
you could also throw in but Belt. I mean, Belt's still 3-1 in conference play and 4-1 overall. Shelby, Chinook, both teams 4-1. Joliet 4-1, and despite the loss to Park City, it was close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of saying when there's just so many places that just haven't completely organized themselves out yet, and I think that's one of the things that with not having as many non-conference games, it's kind of tough to get a handle on some of these teams when talking about them in a statewide context too, just because they don't have those this team's played this team who also played this team, and then you can kind of plot some stuff, and it's always interesting to me how those things kind of work out. But
as good as the East is, I mean, the West: Thompson Falls, Drummond, Phillipsburg, Charlo. Charlo has 1 loss. That's 17-1 in the conference combined between those 3 in the West. I mean, 8-man might be the toughest division this year. It really might.
Yeah. Well, and then you have a fairly decent Clark Fork and Mission team too. I mean, both deserve a playoff spot as well, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. And St. Iggy's got a great quarterback, and even in our league team that I don't think we thought much about it, and they just got and they got spanked by Clark Fork earlier. But I mean, even that team has some solid talent on it. I mean, it's crazy to me that this is the year where all of this is happening, because in another year this would probably be the one of the best years of high school football, and maybe even college football, depending. Right. That I would have experienced stepping out here. So
all right, anyway, I'll give you the go ahead on 6-man.
Yeah, I'll stop rambling. Big Sandy, Shields Valley, Floyd Lake, White Sulphur, Savage, and then I have Mondack at 6.
Well, Mondak's in the 8-man. They're your 5.
I just realized that.
Okay.
They
were 6. I like it.
Trying to destroy all my credibility today, so.
Don't worry, nobody listens to the show anyway. I got Big Sandy, Shields Valley, Floyd Lake, White Sulphur Springs, and then Hobson Moore, Judith Gap.
I buy it. I'm not selling it. I buy it.
You could throw Hot Springs in there, and I mean, look, if they didn't have to play Thursday, they might have beaten White Sulphur, but you can't play football 2 games in 45 hours. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah,
that was definitely not even a surprise, but just a shock. I couldn't believe that they went through that. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know about that one.
I mean, play a Tuesday or a Wednesday and then Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Instead of Thursday. Maybe it's just me though being ridiculous, but anyway.
No, it just doesn't seem safe. And
yep.
I did want to shout Bridger out again, because they've put together 2 really good wins. The shutout 70-0 this week, and a big one last week too, to be there at 4-1 as well. And there's a good argument for a lot of these teams. I mean, Harleton's 4-1 as well. Powers 3-1.
I know there's so many good. There's just this is, like you said, this is a great year for football, and unfortunately, we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
But hey, what do we know? We're just sports guys, right?
Yeah. Well, and I can't even tell you which division Mondack's in. So you know what?
Hey, I had to say it. I couldn't let you just
No, I'm glad, and I'm glad you did too. Don't let me off the hook.
Okay. Hey, I wish for better things over there for you, where you work and everything. I hope everything's going to be okay over there. So I just I'll say that. How's that?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and shout out to Gwen. I mean, excellent EIC, and I learned a lot from her, and I've been very blessed since coming to Montana with the editors and stuff that I've worked with. They've all been very fair, very smart, and all made me become not only a better writer, but a better reporter and a better person, a better journalist.
No, that's well said about Gwen, for sure. All right, man. Stay safe. Enjoy the football this weekend, and the soccer and the volleyball, and we'll talk on Monday.
Yep, it's fun that it's starting to come down to a little bit more championship season and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. So
we're this close, Jordy. Let's get to the championship season.
I know.
We're this close. All right, man. All right, I'll chat with you on the text probably and through the Twitter, and we'll talk on the air Monday.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, that is Jordy Hansen joining us. You can follow him at Jordy Hansen, Jordan Hansen on the Twitter. Great insight. Just a great dude, and love having him on every Monday to recap the weekend. So there you go. And we're not done yet. That's 2/3. We have another segment coming up, and Sam Acho will join us. He played at the University of Texas, and he's got a great story, and he's got a great book that it comes out tomorrow, and it talks about not worrying about what others think of you. And it's very interesting, and we'll talk to Sam next, coming up here on the Jason Walker Show. We are presented by Capital Collision Center.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Jason Walker here, and I want to tell you about a great place that's going to make you feel better in just an hour. Ocean Spirit Massage. From deep tissue to hot stone and more, Ocean Spirit Massage will get your sore, tired muscles feeling like new. Whether you overdid it working out, hiking the hills, playing golf, whatever it is, or even if you're pregnant, you will walk away feeling better than you have in years. Book now for yourself or make it a couples massage. And gift certificates are always available as well. Visit oceanspiritmassage.com or call 417-0542. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com. Fall is officially here, and now is the perfect time to get your rig tuned up before the big hunt. That means a lift kit from Auto Concepts. An Auto Concepts lift kit will help take you places only the animals can go. And when you do get that big one, make sure you have help to get it home with a winch to pull it out. Or maybe you'll be a good friend and help pull someone out of the snowbank. Check out AutoConceptsHelena.com for more ideas. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals. Final segment on a Monday, Jason Walker Show, inside the Major Mortgage Man Cave. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. Montana Law says it's your vehicle, and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Great sponsors. I mean, Mark LaRoe Photography, Rucker's Furniture, our segment sponsors, Mike Miller, State Farm, Auto Concepts, Major Mortgage, Cafe Zydeco, Dinner's Done Right, Ocean Spirit Massage, many more. Go to jasonwalkershow.com, visit our sponsor page, and check out their pages. On this day in history still to come, we're going to hand out the Auto Concepts Performance of the Week and a couple of birthdays to celebrate as well. And we want to continue our big show. And I had a chance to catch up with former NFL linebacker and current book author Sam Acho. He played at the University of Texas and was drafted by Arizona, spent some time with the Bears, the Eagles, and I think Tampa. But he joins us now here on the Jason Walker Show on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. First off, man, I appreciate you being able to join us. This is really cool. And I was reading some of the highlights of this book, and I'm really anxious to read this. And let me get your thoughts first, Sam, about Dak Prescott, because he kind of, he came out, spoke about depression, and then, of course, yesterday's bad injury. But what's your thoughts on Dak?
Absolutely. Well, it's funny. He has a compound fracture in his leg. In 2013, I actually broke my fibula. So it wasn't a compound fracture, but it was week 4 of the season, right? So similar time. Broke my fibula, out for the season. And so, number one, obviously, it's not about me. It's about Dak. He's strong. He's strong at the end of the day. It takes courage, and it's a little bit about what the book's about, but it takes courage to be open and honest and vulnerable about your emotions and about something that everyone is going through, right? I don't know what the stats are, but maybe it's 40%. I don't want to put out the wrong number, but our percentage of Americans battle with mental health and depression and all these things. And so he's strong, he's courageous, he's a fighter, and he's going to be okay. I know God's got bigger plans in store for him.
Sam Acho, our guest here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. And one thing about your book, Sam, that I was impressed with some of the highlights, you went back and got your MBA while you were in the NFL, and then you didn't tell anybody because you were afraid that people, what they might think about that, because that's not normal for an NFL player.
Absolutely, yeah. So in college, I went to the University of Texas. I won this award called the Campbell Trophy. It's the academic Heisman Trophy. I was named one of the top 20 smartest athletes in all of sport. I mean, it was, but for whatever reason, I didn't know that was going to fit within an NFL locker room. And so when I got to the NFL, I tried to put all that away, put all that behind me, and not let people know that's who I am and what I care about. I can recite Shakespeare. I can tell you pi to the 14th decimal. Like, it's the stuff that I like doing. And for whatever reason, I was ashamed of that. And so when I got to the NFL, I remember I had this postgraduate, I won this award, and it came with a $25,000 postgraduate scholarship that expired within 2 years. So I didn't want to waste the money. And so after my first year, I said, okay, let me go back and get my MBA. And I got it from the number one international business MBA in the world. And I got it while I was playing. I did it in the offseason. And interestingly enough, I did that, but I didn't tell any of my teammates because I didn't think it would fit. I didn't tell any coaches because I didn't want them to think I wasn't a football guy. I didn't even tell any of our general managers or scouts or anybody there. I didn't want them to go and find somebody else. And so I was ashamed. I thought that if people saw me, that they wouldn't accept me. But I didn't realize that when people saw me, the real me, whether it's intelligent, smart guy, or whether it's emotional, right? I'm super sensitive, talking about Dak and all the things, like going through some of the stuff he talked about. We talk about in the book as well, right? Some of these ups and downs, like pressure and all the things. I thought people wouldn't accept that. But similar to Dak and a lot of people, Kevin Love, et cetera, when you show people you, God gets the glory, number one. Number two, the people around you benefit from that, number two. And number three, the world around you thrives. And that's what I realized. When I started telling people about who I am and the things I care about, things I love, they said, oh, wow, let me tell you about what I care about and love as well. It was a mutually beneficial relationship.
The book is called Let the World See You. And what's interesting, too, is Sam Acho joining us. It's a lot of with depression, and I'm going to relate it to depression and suicide because it's big right now. But the world needs your gifts, and that's a lot of what we're saying to people is, look, we need you in this world. And I think this is a big time book now for just everything instead of normal things, but this is a big deal for those battling. And I go back to depression. I've been battling it for the last 18 months or so. But I think this is a big deal, and the world needs your gifts. It's a great line.
No, absolutely. And that's why I'm excited to get this book into, really even into your hands, right? Because I'm like, I wrote this book for people who, like me, are going through something. Like, that's what this book is for. People ask me, what was the motivation to write this book? Had it been a plan? Man, I was going through a lot. And I felt like in a lot of ways, imagine an orange, right, that's been sliced down the middle, and he's got like all this flesh on the inside. And I feel like this book was just squeezed and wrenched out of me. That's really how I felt this book come out. And so this book isn't, just like, let me write a book and see what happens. No, this book is like my heart on a page. It's for anybody, everybody who's gone through, whether it's suicidal thoughts, depression, whether it's any ups or any downs, loss of loved ones, right? That's how the book starts. I lost a loved one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a book that will encourage you and remind you that freedom is, in fact, on the other side. How do I know? Because I've been there. I've seen the bad. I've also seen the good. I've seen the ups. I've seen the downs. There is freedom on the other side. So I can't wait for you and anybody who's listening to get a chance to go to samachobook.com, SAMACHO book.com, or get it anywhere books are sold. It's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, anywhere books are sold. It's called Let the World See You, because I believe that once you get to the other side of this book, you'll realize two things. Number one, the freedom that comes from being you, right? That's kind of a theme. But the main theme of this book, and I can't wait till you crack it open, the main theme of this book is that you are worth getting to know.
I like that. Sam Acho, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show, former NFL linebacker, currently an author. Let the World See You. How to Be Real in a World of Fakes. That's the sub title, and there is a world of fakes. And what did you learn from your playing days about that to where you translated it into this book?
Absolutely. Well, Jason, I remember walking in the locker rooms and you got friends, teammates, right? And obviously I'm using the locker room, use it for work or for home or whatever. And you walk by somebody and it's like, hey man, how are you doing? And it's like, they don't even care if you care how I'm actually doing, or you're just saying that just to say that, right? Hey, what's up? And sometimes I wouldn't even respond. So I'm like, you're not even looking at me. You're just saying, what's up? Do you really care how I'm doing? And like everybody just goes through, well, that's the thing to do. Let me just say, what's up? How you doing? Or let me post this tweet. Let me post this picture of things looking great. Look at all my followers. Look at this great quote I have. Look at how great life is. Right? I'm not sitting here saying share with everyone all the bad things that ever been, but life's about ups and downs, good and bad. There need to be people in your life you can share with some of the good and also the bad. I call it my board of directors, right? I have about 5 people. My wife is one of them. My dad is one of them, and 3 close friends that are my board of directors. I tell them all everything, whether good or bad or ugly. I share it with them because I realize if I keep it to myself, I cannot handle it. I wasn't meant to do it alone. None of us were. We're meant to do it together, to do life together, ups, downs, good and bad, to let the world see us. That's how we were created.
Sam Acho, our guest here, Jason Walker Show. Is the hospital built in Nigeria? Because I know that's been a big part of your life as well.
Absolutely, yeah. For people who don't know, my parents started a nonprofit about 30 years ago called Living Hope Christian Ministries. We do medical mission work in Nigeria, bring doctors, nurses, surgeons, etc. Well, about 7 or so years ago, really 5 years ago or so, we had a dream of building a medical center in Nigeria. And by God's grace, we opened up the medical center. So now it's open, it's up, it's running. And interestingly enough, the way that it got built is actually in the book. There's a chapter called Bear Down, which I can't wait till people read it. It really was a miracle how that hospital got built. It was a dream that turned into a reality.
That's awesome, man. And I know, like you said, it was a long time dream that got fulfilled, and very cool. Quick final question for you: is Texas back? Are you tired of hearing that yet?
That's a great question. I can't even answer that because I remember a couple years ago, our quarterback made that statement, and the coach wasn't happy with him. And so I don't think so. I'll put it this way: time will tell. We got some talent, but I think we gotta find a way to kind of come together as a team.
Absolutely. NFL linebacker, author, Sam Acho, our guest here. The book, again, is called Let the World See You, How to Be Real in a World of Fakes. And you can get it at samachobook.com. It comes out tomorrow, Tuesday. And Sam, we appreciate the time, continued success, and congratulations on this book.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jason.
Sam Acho joining us, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. Get the book. It's going to be a great read, and I've seen parts of it and read parts of it. It's it's just in this time in 2020, it's what a lot of people need to read right now. Let the world see you. How to be real in a world of fakes. So you can get it. All right, Auto Contest Performance of the Week, and we had some great nominees this week, but I got to go with Cormac Ben, man. 38 rushes, 381 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Big Fork won a shootout over Class A Polson 54-40. And you heard Jordy Hansen talk about it. The Vikings had 664 rushing yards, no passing yards. They only attempted 3 passes, ran 67 times for 600. That's almost 10 yards a carry, by the way. And Cormac had a teammate who's not even listed that had over 270 yards rushing. So there's your Auto Concepts Performance of the Week. All right. On this date, it is October the 12th. It is Columbus Day. It is National Kick Butt Day, National Online Bank Day, Native American Day, Farmers Day, Free Thought Day, Gumbo Day, Savings Day, and Vermont Day. On this date in 1853, John Morrissey won the boxing title. Yankee Sullivan would leave the ring after the 36th round to beat up Morrissey's fans. So Morrissey gets the boxing title. 1968, the Summer Olympics opened up in Mexico City. It was the first Olympics in Latin America. 1979, a couple of debuts. Well, Chris Ford of the Boston Celtics, hit the first three-pointer in NBA history. The game also marked the debut of Boston rookie Larry Bird. 1979 as well. Magic Johnson makes his debut for the Lakers. Lakers would win over the San Diego Clippers, 103-102. Magic and Bird. That was the best era of NBA basketball. The 80s, early 90s. LA won last night. I'm a Lakers fan, but yay. You know, LeBron begging for respect. I want my damn respect. Dude, go away. 1989 on this date, Herschel Walker was traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Minnesota Vikings. 5 players, 6 future draft picks came out of it. 11 players for 1. Emmitt Smith, Russell Maryland, Darren Woodson, just some of those that were drafted by Dallas after that. On this date in 1991, boxer Hector Camacho was arrested for driving. He was not alone. He had a friend with him who was, let's just say, couldn't see where the road was. Macho Camacho was driving. Someone else was running the stick. 1910, happy birthday, Bob Shepard, the legendary announcer for the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. I mean, you think of some of the guys that he announced. He was 100 when he died, 99. Bob Shepard. And he recorded Jeter's, now batting Derek Jeter. Number 2, Derek Jeter. Or number 2, Derek Jeter, number 2. Anyway, Lane Frost was born on this date, 1963, the bull rider. Nancy Kerrigan, born on this date in 1969. Marion Jones, the drug cheat. 5 forfeited Olympic medals, born on this date in 1975. Bodie Miller, born on this date in 1977. John Denver died on this date in 1997 in a plane crash in California, well, in the Pacific. 1999, Wilt Chamberlain passed away. 2003, Bill Schumacher died. The 8,833 career victories, won the Kentucky Derby in 1955, 1959, 1965, and then again in 1986. He was 72 when he passed away. We mentioned a couple of birthdays. Danny Sprinkle, Montana State coach, his birthday today. Match Burnham, former Carroll standout, his birthday today. In fact, his sister, Maisie, celebrated a birthday yesterday. She'll be a star out at Eastern Washington. And one other birthday to celebrate today. It is my grandmother's birthday, born in 1937 in North Dakota. But my grandma Donna, born on this date. She passed away in 2000. And next to her is my grandpa, who was like John Wayne to me, who was he was born in March. But it's Grandma's birthday today, so I thought I'd celebrate Grandma's birthday today, too. We miss her. Let's see. What else? Oh, with the walk-off. I wanted to get to this real quick. Why am I on that page? Let's do this instead.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
All right, so Frontier Conference preseason polls were released today. Basketball, and we're hoping to have a season. Most teams are playing conference only. A couple of teams are going to play 4 or 5 non-conference games. Women's basketball coaches, remember, there are only 6 teams now in the Frontier after LC State left for the Cascade. Playoff champ University of Providence was picked to finish second on the women's side. Regular season champ Carroll College is picked to win the league title. MSU Northern, Rocky Mountain College tied for 3rd. Western 5th, and then Tech in last. On the men's side, so Carroll received 3 first-place votes, by the way. Providence won on the women's side. On the men's side, 4 first-place votes go to the University of Providence, 2 for Carroll College, and Providence, under Steve Keller, with 23 overall points, picked to win the Frontier. Carroll College and Kurt Paulson, 22 points. It's going to be that close again. Tech, 17, Northern, 14 and 4th, Rocky, and then Western men in 5th, or 6th. So there's your preseason polls in the Frontier Conference. What does it mean? Absolutely nothing. And one final note on the walk-off, presented by Cafe Zydeco. Stop by 625 Euclid in Helena, also in Bozeman and Billings. I mean, you know how good it is. The food is unmatched. There's nowhere else you get this type of Cajun and Creole food like you do at Cafe Zydeco. Wanted to run through my picks from last week. We picked Glacier at Helena High, and I predicted that Helena High would win 34-12. It was actually 34-14. Capital at Big Sky. I picked Big Sky to win at 21-17. Capital actually with the big win, thanks to Matt Burton and a really good defense, 28-12. Three Forks at Jefferson. I picked Jefferson 17-10. It was actually the Panthers 45-12. That was the only one I really was off on, aside from picking the wrong team in the other game. All right, Glasgow at Malta. Picked the Scotties to win 35-24. Malta won 36-14. Power Dutton Brady at Big Sandy. I got the winner right. I picked the Pioneers 56-38. It was actually 46-29. And we had the bonus pick. Picked Manhattan over Big Timber 49-15. It was actually 49-0. So I was really close on some scores. That one, and then the closest one was Helena High. I picked them 34-12, and they won 34-14. So fun stuff. All right, we were so busy today. Love it. Lindsay Berra, Yogi's granddaughter, talking about the passing of Whitey Ford and some great stories. Jordan Hansen recapping the weekend. We had our auto contest performance of the week. Cormac Ben from Big Fork. Sam Acho, get his book. This comes out tomorrow, samachobook.com. Tomorrow, for sure, Jim Carr, NAIA president. We might talk to some coaches. We might talk to more reporters. Who knows? It's just a surprise. Brittany Jackson's coming back on Wednesday. Looking forward to that. And Nicole Rigoni. Have yourself a magnificent Monday. Go to jasonwalkershow.com. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 4.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.